Imagine buying a deal and not being able to make any progress on it in 2 years. Well, that is exactly what happened to me on one of my favorite upcoming projects, the Salt Ranch Boutique Hotel that I'm working on here in East Nashville. Well, we have finally gotten our permits. We are actually mobilized on site. So today, I'm going to take you into what has been going on for the last 2 years and give you an update on the project, because we're going to be walking you through every step of the renovations along the way. Salt Ranch is a 48-key boutique hotel that we are doing here in East Nashville, only about 8 minutes from downtown. Check out this video here if you really want to dive into it, and I'll also leave a link below so you can go watch that later. We acquired the property in 2021 with the thought of, hey, we'll just renovate it, bring it back online, and do a mid-luxury boutique hotel, which this side of town doesn't really have at this scale. However, that didn't really go as planned because Metro Nashville is unbelievably backed up. They are still operating on the same level of staffing that they had back in 2013, and as you probably know, Nashville is a bit more popular of a city than it was back then. So, of course, it took us years to get through the process, and finally we are back underway, making progress on the site. Look, you can't just slap a guitar up on a wall, put a picture of Dolly somewhere, and say, welcome to Nashville, this is who we are. I grew up here. I want people to actually experience the Nashville that I know as they're coming into this city. And what a better way to do it on a 2.5-acre site, about 8 or 10 minutes from downtown, and create essentially a retreat. Right? You kind of get that Palm Springs vibe. So Palm Springs is probably not necessarily more Nashville than Dolly, but I wanted to lean into the outdoors, which most of the other boutique hotels don't really do. I love the color palette because it's not this, Art Deco green and gold or blue and gold or black and gold that a lot of these hotels have been going with them. Let's be honest, I love that style. Art Deco is one of my favorites, but unfortunately it's being overdone, so we're having to look at other things. I think that the Salt Ranch color palette that we've been working with on our design and marketing team is absolutely phenomenal. It really leans into the pool and the outdoor space, which not many boutique hotels in Nashville have. The original building, which will house our lobby and our bar, was constructed in the 1850s, before the Civil War. And actually, it was used as a hospital during the Civil War. It's been listed on America's Most Haunted Places. And funny enough, back in the day, John Cena actually lived here before he made it big. I think it was John Cena. No, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know my wrestlers. Anyway, back in the 1950s, they then added 4 more buildings to the property, turned it into the Maple Manor, added a pool, and made it this really cool roadside motel, motor court. I mean, when you think of motels in the 1950s, this place was it. Yeah, and no, there have been no ghosts on site. I have people reach out to me all the time like, hey, can I go spend the night in the site? No, you can't come spend the night in my basement of my 1856 house. Thank you for asking. Pass. Dickerson Pike has started to see a revitalization, largely thanks to maybe me. Feel like I was one of the first guys that was really saying, hey, by the way, everybody should pay attention to this corridor that goes right into the Titan Stadium in downtown Nashville. And it really wasn't until a year ago, 2 years ago, that other developers kind of picked up on what was going on this side of town and started buying up deals. Land has doubled in value from about $800,000 to $1 million an acre to over $2 million an acre in a period of 4 years, which is relatively unprecedented when it comes to real estate. But let's be honest, it's not like I was some genius. If you look at Dickerson Pike on a map, it goes right into downtown. We're 5 minutes from the core, from one of the most popular tourist areas in the country. It was going to take off, no matter what, but I'll take credit for it. So I finally bought the asset in 2021 after working on it for 3 years. Yes, like I said, I started looking at Dickerson Pike back in 2018. It was one of the first properties that I identified that I really wanted. That's because it sits on 2.5 acres at a lighted intersection. There's not really another property like that in Nashville. It was already zoned for high density. I mean, I think we could do 200 or 300 apartment units on it today, but it's a beautiful site. We went through a lot of negotiations to land where we did. I believe the sellers wanted somewhere close to $3.5 or $4 million when I first started talking to them, and I just couldn't justify that price. I think I offered them initially $2 to $2.4 million. million. We ended up going back and forth quite a bit. The deal died a number of times. I went out to their other hotels and sat down with them and did everything I could to finally get this deal done, and we settled at $3 million. At that price point, I knew I could make this work. Even if we had to operate it as a terrible hotel, even if we had to tear the entire site down, I could figure something out, because at that point, I was basically buying it for the value of the dirt. All right, that all sounds good, but Tyler, what the hell? It's been 2 years. Why are you just now getting started? It's a good question. I would like to know that too. Unfortunately, when you are dealing with development, sometimes you get delayed by forces that are outside of your control. Now, we always try to do as much as we can as developers to control every little piece that we possibly can, but let me tell you, we ended up redesigning the hotel to start. So we bought it in 21, and unfortunately what I designed was the best hotel that Nashville could have ever seen. That sounds great, except for the fact that it was a $17 million price tag to get that property renovated and brought up to spec. Well, Dickerson Pike, although I have all the faith in the world as to how amazing this corridor is still turning around. And so a lot of banks would look at that and say, I don't want to give you the money to do a $17 million hotel. And after talking with over 50 lenders, I decided, you know what, maybe the lenders are kind of right on this one. So I went back, we redesigned it, lost a whole bunch of time, spent some money. Now it's a $10 million project, and guess what? I got my funding like that. So we were able to start moving forward. Well, the Nashville Department of Transportation then came in and said, hey, we want you to build sidewalks. We were fine with that. We'd actually prepared for that in our budget. We wanted sidewalks because it makes the building look better. I never understand why developers argue over sidewalks. They look good. It's a better entrance. People can actually walk around. However, as soon as Stormwater saw the new plans showing sidewalks that the government wanted to be at our property, they came back and said, hey, you're disturbing 10,000 square feet of soil. Why don't you go ahead and give us some new stormwater? Fortunately, back in the summer of 2023, it was deemed unconstitutional for developers to be building sidewalks on behalf of the metro government, and we no longer had to do sidewalks, which meant that we no longer had to do the additional stormwater. But there we spent 8 or 9 months of wasted time and money arguing with the government over all of this. We finally were able to get all of our submissions passed through, get our permits, and get underway. Don't you just love being a developer? Yeah, that's why I think it's so funny when I have people call me, wanting to join my Siri Accelerator program, and they're like, I want to go right into development. I'm like, no, you don't. That's what you have to deal with. That kind of stuff. You really need to know what you're doing. Wait on getting into development. Maybe your third project. Just wait a little bit. Stormwater is a metro department that covers all of the stormwater control throughout the city. They do a lot of good work. They are the ones that are making sure that we don't have our streets flooding from too much rainwater because the rain doesn't have anywhere to go. NDOT is the Nashville Department of Transportation, and they control all of our roadways, our ingress and egress points, all of the sidewalks within the city, and the flow of traffic. And we were planning on moving the entrance of the hotel, so that's why they were both involved in this conversation. So after we got past those, we were able to push our plans through for permitting and start construction.
We're tearing shit up.
Do you want to take the next step in commercial real estate, but you don't have a mentor or you don't have the step-by-step blueprint that you really want to take this to the next level? Join my Siri Accelerator program. You get my step-by-step blueprint. I will literally give you everything you need. You will get connected with a community of supportive investors that are all working towards the same goal as you. And of course, you'll get personalized coaching and feedback from yours truly. Come on and join. Check out this hyperlink here or the link in the description below. So the hotel was originally supposed to be delivered in 2022. So we are now 2 years past the deadline of when it was actually supposed to be delivered. So in 2025, Salt Ranch will be opening. With the 2-year delay, unfortunately, we've had to redesign the site a bit. Construction costs have gone up, and we had to eliminate the restaurant that we were originally going to do on site. We will still be keeping the interior bar. Now we could always do a restaurant in the future because the footprint is still there. We're just not doing the infrastructure required and spending all the money on equipment that we would have to if we were going to be doing a restaurant. As you're going through a project like this, especially a development, you're going to have delays, right? It's just naturally going to happen. Nothing ever goes as fast as you want it to. Nothing ever goes as fast as your investors want it to. So it's really important as you're going through this process to be very honest, open, and upfront with them. I update my investors on a quarterly basis. They get a long synopsis of everything that we are working on, and we share any documentation or updates that we have throughout the way. So it's not like we haven't been doing anything since we've been waiting on permitting, we've been working on building out the business, right? Because when you're opening a hotel, you're not just owning real estate, you are actually operating a business as well. So we've been working with our management company to get our systems and processes in place so that we can get this thing open and operating the way that it should. We've been working with our design and marketing team to put together our website and get together the branding and marketing that we would like that is going to be of the level that we need for a mid-luxury boutique hotel in Nashville. And of course, continuing to massage our construction budget so that we can come in on budget, if not on time. Now, one of the best things that we could have done when it came to this project was we paid cash for the acquisition of the property. That meant that over that 2-year period, we didn't really have any holding costs. Sure, I had a little bit of interest here and there with some money that we spent on demo, but overall, it didn't cost us a whole lot of money to sit there and wait. That's one thing that I highly recommend you do. If you're getting into commercial real estate development, pay cash for the land, because those carry costs will eat you up and you don't know really how many delays you're going to have. So just be safe. Go buy the land in cash and then get a construction loan that you're only going to draw down on as progress is actually being made on the site. So I raised capital from 50 individual investors for this project, and while they are not seeing cash flow distributions today, since the property is not up and running, they are accruing a preferred return. So as soon as the property actually starts cash flowing, I have to catch them up on that preferred return before I, as a general partner in the deal, get to see a dollar. So if you're considering investing with other syndicators or general partners in their deals, make sure that your preferred return is in front of any dollars that the general partner sees, because then you're very much in line with your interest in the property. I don't get paid until my investors are caught up and paid what they are owed, which means that I am very incentivized to get this project out of their way and done. Termite damage is not uncommon in Tennessee. Pretty much if you have anything that's made out of wood, there's a good chance you're gonna have termite damage. This one, I mean, it's falling apart. That's not gonna work. Now, I'm an opportunist when it comes to commercial real estate. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I want to hold everything forever and that I know everything at all times. It'd be awesome if I did. If I did, I would probably be Warren Buffett. But did we consider selling the hotel and walking away from it? Sure, why not? There's a price for everything. Now, I didn't go and actively market it, but it's a prime piece of real estate, so I had plenty of people making me off-market offers. We never really got to anything that made sense or that the investment group really wanted to move forward on, so we ended up turning everything down. Now, that was a backup option that we could have considered if I wanted to just sell the property, return everybody's capital, and walk away. But I spend most of my time in East Nashville. We know exactly what's going on in this corridor. The office space in which I am recording this video in for you right now is like a mile away from that hotel. I'm gonna be here for a while. I would rather hold it for the long term than sell too early. Okay, back to today. So construction crews have just remobilized on site. We are finalizing the demo of the units so that we know exactly what will have to be redone within the suites. We're currently scoping out the plumbing so that we can determine which pipes are actually good and which are bad and need to be replaced. We just got a quote back on redoing all of the electrical for the buildings, and we are finalizing our updated construction budget with our contractors so that we know exactly what to expect moving forward. So that's where we are today. They're starting with each individual room, working building by building. Then we'll move into the main house, do the bar, do the lobby, do some really cool things in there, and of course, get to the pool. When I acquire deals, I like to underwrite them unbelievably conservatively. If you've seen any of my videos teaching you how to underwrite, you'll notice that. I like to take my rents and beat them up. I like to assume that our construction costs are gonna be too high, that we're gonna deliver the product too late, and if the deal still works then we're good. Honestly, that is why this deal is doing just fine today, despite being 2 years behind schedule. We underwrote the rooms at the same rate as a dingy motel down the street instead of another boutique hotel comp that we had in the same neighborhood. That way, if it works at this rate, we'll be just fine moving forward, because I knew that would be our bottom dollar. That all comes together and culminates into a strong project that will likely still hit our numbers, if not exceed our original projections, just because since it's been 2 years and Nashville has continued growing, it's now more expensive to be over on this side of town. So the key takeaways from my experience with Salt Ranch so far is pay cash for the site. Make sure that your underwriting is extremely conservative so that if you hit any road bumps, you will be fine, and stick to it. These projects take time, it takes a lot of effort, and you gotta really want it to make it happen. So there you have it for a current update on what the hell I've been up to on Salt Ranch for the last couple of years. If you wanna learn more about commercial real estate investing and actually take the next step, join the CRE Accelerator program. It's awesome. We've got some great people in there. And if you just wanna learn more about Salt Ranch, check out this video here.